There are times that walk from you like some passing afternoon. Somewhere on the open wind.
So for this lesson, there's a double-sided sheet using these two buoys that is taken right out of the operations guide for watercraft. And I did a copy of the current map that I got from Mr. Nugent. I did a large 11 by 17 of it with some scenarios on it that you'll need to run through it. Okay? So if you don't have those yet, pause this video and get those. A buoy basically often has a light on the top, and it's floating in the water, and it's suspended above. There are certain etiquettes which side the buoy you go over. These ones are specially buoys telling you which side you should travel or which side is clear. That's something at your age I'd let the captain worry about. There's different types of buoys. These are anchorage buoys, where you can anchor nearby and where is a good spot. Ones that are used to mark cautionary aspects, and ones you can actually hook up directly to when some people use them when they're diving and such. Okay. On the paper, on the maps, you'll tend to get various triangle shapes. We have a scenario here where there is a boat or a ship, and you have, I've got not colored, but I have it in written, this means red, and this is green. Typically, you keep red buoys on your starboard side, green buoys on your port side. Here, there is a multicolored buoy, red, green, red. Red meaning your preferred travel, but you can also go green too. So you can either go this way, or you can travel this way. Notice how there's green and red here. It shows you where the channel is. You have these two ships or two boats are meeting each other. This one is you're keeping on the starboard side of his red and the starboard side of this red. The ships will have the green on their starboard and the red on their port side. Okay. These are just various different scenarios. Much like traffic in a car, you're basically keeping to the starboard side of the road, and the same here. In this scenario, we have a motor vehicle or a water vehicle going this way, and this guy just wants to do a glazing. Instead of crossing in front, he wants to go behind for obvious reasons. If you have you misjudge his speed, you're actually cutting him off, and it's actually bad etiquette and unsafe. So they tend to travel behind someone if you want to end up over at X. Down here, someone wants to overtake, you're faster moving, you can go either or, this side. They usually involve using a loud blast of your horn. Okay, in this boat, or in this is the map that I'm using, that's 11 by 17 paper. There's Stewie again. Stewie's right here off the lighthouse or the buoy off of James Island, just to the northwest. And you're looking at you have an interest in going to the lighthouse towards Sydney Island. The first task here is to draw a line heading towards that path, keeping to water approximately 40 meters of depth. Sydney Spit, he wants to head directly west towards the port in Sydney right here. This is Sydney Island, that's the port of Sydney. We're actually supposed to be heading Sydney eventually. And what he wants to do is head west, and then he's at this location, and he sees a small green buoy. And there's the buoy at the front, with the red on this side and the green. And your question is, which side of this buoy do you go to? Well, to remember, it's always red, right, returning. When you're returning to port, you always keep the red light on your right. So this ship that he's coming in, he needs to stay onto the right side of the red light he sees. Or he keeps the red part of the buoy, the red light, on his starboard side. And then he enters port that way. Conversely, if he was in a boat here, leaving port, Sydney port, you can see it right here, he'd be keeping, it's the reverse, he keeps the green on his starboard side, so he leaves going this way. And that's just to avoid obvious collisions. In James Island and Sydney Island, you see there's a drawing on the paper, a ship here and a ship here. And essentially, how would you leave if this one was going in this direction? Basically heading towards Sydney up at the top. And this one wanted to head down in a basically southern direction. Well, instead of crossing the path here, this ship would head and turn in. Or, if it was a sailing vessel, he would just give them the right of way and hold off until they pass. Depending on, because sailing vessels have to change their tacks to go against the wind. Here you can see Cool Island, just south of Stewie. And if you look in these areas here, this is a very difficult area. And the question is, would be why it's so difficult, especially when the tide is coming in or going out and it's a high tide. Well, typically you get almost river-like conditions and quite fast river conditions when you have constrictions like this in this area. And these constrictions will increase in flow when the tide is going in or out. And they'll be placid when the tide's at high or low tide. So that's why this is such a difficult area, not just in here, but all over. You get the ebb and flow of tide, and you can get some incredibly fast conditions, so fast. In some areas on the West Coast, they actually paddle these waves high-end and do whitewater techniques you'd normally find on, let's say, the Red River or the Red Deer River or in the Kicking Horse River. That's the kind of water it turns into. Enough to flip a fishing conduct on the bridge. It's quite, remember, nautical is mainly, it comes from a nautical or maritime law and maritime practices or military in foundation. And so it has a very seemingly draconian, but for a reason, because typically there's a lot of things going on a bridge. So if you're going to the bridge, you want to go for good reasons. Initially, either the galley sent you up there, or you've checked with the first mate, and you actually knock on the bridge door. You ask for permission from the captain or the first mate, which officer's on the bridge, for permission. And if they give it to you, wonderful. You go to your station, and if not, you take off. That's about it.
Morning, grab a cup of coffee, check out and pack my car.
Aside from that, when you look at it, there is a process of order and response. If you are on the bridge or you're doing something in relation to lookout, the process is the captain gives you an order to do something. So you repeat the order. And then you do it. And then you afterwards see it, repeat it, do it, and then inform the captain when it's been carried out. Or I suppose order. So if he says 10 degrees starboard, or etc., you repeat the order. So because of the noise in a cabin or on a ship can be quite loud, then you do it, and then you inform them afterwards. So 10 degrees port. You repeat it, 10 degrees port, captain. Nice, sir. Do it, and then we're at 10 degrees port, the current bearing. So that way you can avoid hassle.